What's up, man?
Hello? Hey. Too much?
In those games, right?
What
The
was
John
that?
and then the Lucian.
Yeah, dude. Last game 15-0-9. What's up?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw when you were 14 and 0 and 7. Damn.
Yeah, I linked the Plays TV for shits and gigs. What? I'm about to do a coaching session. What's up? Hey, can you give me like 1 minute? The game's
Sure.
loading up, so. And the stream's up. If you don't have the information, I'll get it to you when I get back. Holy shit. Good shit, bro. I'm glad you took my energy. Alright, I'm here. Let's see. Who are you playing?
Jack's jungle.
Okay, so you're Luffy T Cal. You trying to get my attention, baby? I'm assuming this game's a loss, correct?
Yeah. What's
Alright,
team page or where should I go?
I'll send you a message. It should be Catalyst underscore Von D.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, let me know.
Let me try
Yeah, it's literally Catalyst underscore Von D. Similar to how Twitch handles their links.
that. Yep, I see it.
If that doesn't work, just go to my Twitch. Because I know Dikembe has issues with Beam. But it'll like freeze up.
Yeah. I've had some issues with it too.
So why did you go
There's
Jack's
also-
jungle?
So it was, I mean, part of it is I wanted to learn jungle, and I was actually going to play by. But
Was it banned?
yeah, it got picked away one game, so I picked Jax, honestly, because I wasn't sure what else to pick, and I really liked it, even though I hadn't played Jax in a long time. So
It's just Jax really isn't meta right now, so you can't like yeah he's a strong champion and he can be like he can carry a game, but like you're just lowering your chances of winning. Especially because you're not comfortable in the jungle role. I don't know how comfortable you are on fucking. All right, so you see, you know this is coming. Ooh.
Oh, what's your Twitch link? I think I'm behind you on the Catalyst stream.
Von D.
Oh,
Oh no, it's V Decron. VDECRON. I have it paused and I'll wait for you.
okay. Yeah, because I
I
know.
mean, it's probably gonna have a bigger delay on the Twitch stream. And remember, I record these, so you can always go back and watch them on the YouTube. For any parts that you like, maybe what I'm telling you doesn't really match up, and you want to make sure you understood what I was talking about. Alongside, if you message me about any questions afterwards, totally down to fucking watch the video and be like, all right, this is what I was talking about after seeing what I was watching and what I said.
All right, sweet.
All right, I'm continuing. What was that, babe? I think you're gonna have to grab one from out there. I don't have one in here. What was that? So how much gold are you sitting on right now? 975. All right. Depending on what jungle item you go for.
Blood Razor.
Alright, honestly, the boots buy, I'm questioning a little bit. You should have probably gone a dagger because, like, yeah, boots will make you move faster around. With Jax, I don't really see you trying to get too many kills, like ganking and whatnot. You like, if they come to you, they come to you. Alright, good. You left that to fucking try and go clean it up. Alright, so you know for a fact that Bard's in the area. You probably should have warded behind and try to catch him. Alright, you see him here?
I think when he was heading back to bot.
Should be able to get back here pretty easy. Yeah, you do. Let's see. What do you end up buying? A dagger. Alright, good taking care of that dive. You end up getting 2 kills off that. Good shit. At this point, the way I see it is your top lane is ahead by a lot. Your middle is ahead by about like 10 CS or so. Not even, like 70 gold or so.
Oh man, I forgot how well this started. This goes really downhill from here.
Yeah, it looks like it based on the timeline. You really don't ever take Krugs, which as a jungler, that's a good chunk of the EXP. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that was, you played. I totally understand why you. Oh. Oh. That's shitty. That Bard is like roaming non-stop, honestly. Like, if you're looking for a reason you lost the game, it's probably gonna be this Bard, man.
Yeah, he was good.
As Jax, you really shouldn't have any issues doing this by yourself, so asking for team is kind of risky. So you finally take Krugs, because now you reset them of their level 1 gold. Dude, this fucking Bard just has no chill. I don't know why you haven't taken your buff. Like, at the end of the day, they're not gonna be able to take the turret off this. You got bot lane rotating, it looks like. Your red buff has been up for a solid 2 minutes. Like, I get trying to cover all the lanes and whatnot, but like, you need to keep those buffs like constantly rotating.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's part of the thing with Syndra. Like, I feel like I'm always in the wrong place, or there's too many things I need to be doing.
Yeah, welcome to jungle, where you're trying to plug 3 holes with 2 quirks. Like, this tower's up. You should just leave it and be farming your jungle.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'm not really.
And it doesn't help that you're fucking. It sucks because the Bard's roams single-handedly won this game. Like, this wasn't you played incorrectly. This was the Bard just kept shitting on the Lux because the Lux had no map awareness. The only thing you could really do for that is, like, pay attention to the map and then ping at her every fucking time. Spam pings. Like, for your mid laner and shit when you see a gank coming on. Especially because, like, if anything, the bitch should have seen it coming. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Like, there was, every time he walked through vision. Like, it wasn't like he was super slick about it. So your top is 3 and 4, but he is still very much ahead of the Garen. Alright, Janet gets caught. Yeah, honestly, it looks like the Lux is just fucking terrible right now. You don't want to group up with the AD carry because you gotta worry about the Annie ult. You know her flash is down, or you should. when they're picking dragon, you should not be the one going top. That is fucking Rumble's responsibility.
Kind of late. Really
I mean,
late.
you played this fight well. Good job on that. Now Rumble doesn't have teleport. He needs to be rotating. Cloud Drake, it's not as important, but like you might as well get it or refresh it. You know what I mean?
It hurts though.
So honestly, with the fact that, let's see, Caitlin's only about 300 gold behind. You shouldn't have gotten the support. I get it, the support's doing some work and all, but you're fucking Jax. Like Lucian or Annie should be the only two you're ever responding to.
Okay.
Because you're not gonna kill the Bard. Like right now, the Bard has Ruby Sidestone, so he has a lot of health, and they're easily gonna Baron off this. And you go bottom. Like you should have given this wave to your AD carry and gone to Baron and seen what you could do about it, or shove a different lane, or clear your jungle. Because look at your whole blue side right now; it's completely up. You don't have as efficient pathing, which it happens, especially because you're not comfortable with the jungle. Though it is kind of funny to watch this fucking tanky ass Bard shit on your AD carry. Yeah, I told it. Yeah, this is okay. So like, there's 25% of games, man, that you're just not gonna win. You need to accept that. You can play your best, but like, short of being faker, you're not gonna win them. This was one of those. Like the Lux was just really heavy. I'll give you that. She tried to come back, but it was too late. Yeah, that was a pretty cut and dry game though. The Bard roams because the Lux had no map awareness, single-handedly won that game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Hold it.
Like, looking at your item build, especially if you're playing in the jungle, you need to finish your jungle item. It's just that simple. Especially on Jax. Like, if you had Sated Devour, maybe. Even if you were working on your Triforce. But honestly, with this team setup, Jax was not the right pick. You should have gone a tankier fucking jungle, because with the Garen Warwick frontline and you guys have no frontline, even if the Lux plays perfectly, you're still most likely going to lose this, to be honest. I just noticed that, otherwise I would have said something sooner.
No, I mean, I'm trying to pick up jungle. Like, I don't play a multitude of junglers well.
Okay, so Warwick, Galio, and Vi are good starter jungles. Cho'Gath is pretty easy to play as well. He has a pretty decent clear once you get like level 3. He's just kind of mana hungry, which is fine. But like, you build him like Cinder Hulk, full tank, and if you start winning and whatnot, get a Titanic Hydra. Like, your literal job is just to fucking CC their carries and eat them, or CC the people diving and eat them, because your ult does so much true damage. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I mean, those are the 3 junglers I recommend, with a bonus one if that's somebody you might be interested in. Ivern's also really strong, but he takes a lot to get used to, so you'd want to put in the normal games for it.
Who? Sorry.
Ivern.
Oh, Ivern.
Yeah. Trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of it's just like, obviously this was a tough game. You know,
It was.
the team as a whole didn't do very well, but a lot of times, like, I feel just like I'm in the wrong place, or.
Well, the reason you felt like you were in the wrong place was because the enemy team was doing something everywhere. So it's like you had to pick between a bad decision and a worse decision. And you're not comfortable making any decisions because you're trying to pick up jungle. So it's like,
it's kind of like a flip of the coin. As you play more jungle, you will get to a point where you're comfortable making those decisions where it'll be obvious. As a jungler, when you're in loading screen, the first thing you want to do is you want to look at your lanes and be like, all right, based on what my champion strengths are, whose lane can I gank and successfully fucking kill? I'm only gonna think the Lux if I look at her match history and I see that she like pops off normally, and if so, I'm gonna camp that mid lane. The moment the Bard showed up the second time, though, I would have camped bottom because you have Janna, Caitlyn, and as long as you get your stun on Lucian, there's no reason that shouldn't lead into a Caitlyn trap, auto, net, auto, Q, auto, snipe. And then he dies. Period. Especially because he would have a Janna shield on it. And timing it where Bard is middle immediately means you'll be able to take that bottom turret, dragon, and then back.
That makes sense.
Warwick... Warwick is kind of a shitty pick, just because like he's basically jungling on easy mode. That's why I recommend Warwick to be picked up. Like you start freaking machete rejuve bead, like he's stupid strong. So with him, as long as you make sure you don't get low in the jungle and you're warding your entrances and whatnot, you should be fine. And being able to stun him out of his suppress, and you'll be fine. The Garen Rumble matchup. Honestly, the fact that Rumble only won that in CS and not in kills is primarily because of the Warwick. Like, the Warwick was the secondary carry. Yeah, he has 9 kills, but that Bard single-handedly freaking destroyed the Lux in lane. Like, the Annie was just there to get the kills, and even that Bard got. I wouldn't be surprised if the Fungus Dungus was a support main. He wasn't auto-filled. And B, he might also have been a Smurf.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because like even the only supports that I know that do that are like Diamond and up. And he was a really good support. Like his wardage was out insane. And I don't think he missed a single ult that he didn't want to hit. Or that he wanted to hit. Just things to think about. You also got to remember, there was a 10k lead at the end. Like, there's only so much you can do as one person, especially when you are not the most gold. If anything, you're the second lowest, which is normal because you're a jungler. It just sucks because it's Jax. Jax requires a lot of gold income, which is why he's not really played in the jungle. Can he be played? Yeah, sure. Should he be? Not so much. You also got to be really comfortable in Jax to take him out of top lane. You got to be comfortable in Jax to play him in top lane, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't expecting to play him in jungle, but I just tried him and it felt good. So
if you enjoyed him, then you're welcome to keep trying him. But I would recommend against it if you want to actually win games. If you're purely just trying to learn in normals, it's fine. Then keep playing Jax. As you get more and more comfortable, you'll start winning more. Like he's an initial like really high learning curve. But once you get a hang of him and you start learning all the little tricks and whatnot, you're going to have a good time, I'll be honest. He's just one of those champions. But, what rank are you, by the way?
So, my main role is mid.
No, what rank are you? Gold 1?
Yeah.
So you got to really ask yourself, what type of goals do you have here? Is your goal to pick up jungle? Is your goal to pick up Jax? Is your goal to get to plat? Because you can probably only pick 2 of them. He's just one of those champions that you got to put a lot of games in, man. It's been a long time since Jax was in the meta. It's like trying to learn Aatrox right now. You know what I mean? Except the only difference, it's just like he's that out of the meta. He has a higher success rate than Aatrox, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, Aatrox's strength is that, like, you never see him, so nobody knows how to play against him. Whereas Jax, like, we've seen so many times he's been in the LCS in the past that, like, everybody understands his kit, what his strengths are, and to stay the fuck away from him. Auto attack canceling is huge on Jax, and it looked like you were kind of trying, but you were a little slow because once again you were uncomfortable. And I get that. I'm just saying, like, me personally, I would not play Jax, and I am a I'm not even a jungle main anymore. I'm really an AD carry main, but like I'm very comfortable in the jungle. So like I can play crazy shit and succeed with it. If you're trying to learn the role, you gotta crawl before you walk, and you gotta walk before you run. And you're trying to fucking run in the Olympics right now. I'm totally saving that analogy for a later class. Do you have any questions? Because I just kind of been running my mouth.
Yeah, that makes a lot. Let's see. So just, I mean, in terms of just learning jungle pathing and how to track camps, both mine and the other junglers better.
Is there a super secret like LCS strategy? Is that what you're asking me for right now?
And it doesn't have to be anything like that one-time solution. Just
I mean, I do have
I have
just that. Hold on. It's not so much timers, right? Because at the end of the day, you'll know when their buffs are up. The moment you know where their buffs are up, you can generally assume where they're going to be. Are you still watching the stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
So this is probably going to be something you're going to have to watch in the stream just so there isn't any delay, or on the VOD just so there isn't any delay. But if you are top side, so red side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting an early pink, either right here where you can see the whole way to enter from there, or right here, being able to see once again them enter that side. Like those two sides, especially like at lower elos, which includes gold, people don't really check, especially in the early game. Late game is different, but early game, if you can get one of those, you can pretty much track whenever. Like the moment you see the jungler, if he's walking from mid lane to blue side, then you can automatically assume this camp is down, this camp is down, and you'll be able to see his buffs. And this camp may be down. If he's walking out of it, you can assume without a doubt that Wolves is down, this is down, and this is down. You know he's on the bottom side, so if you're trying to go for a counter gank, you're going to want to mirror his side where you're going to go from red side to blue, and then hang around bot. Because he's going to come one of those two ways. If you see him go to blue, you can hang up there if you're going for a counter engage. If you're trying to stay away from, let's say he wins the 2v2 or the 3v3, etc., etc., then if you see he goes red side, then you immediately know top is free. That's going to be a 1v2, and if your laner is in position and the enemy laner is pushed up, it's an easy gank.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with mid lane, it's a little bit riskier, but it's a lot easier to gank as well. Hold on a second. Thought I had a message. Apparently I don't. Alright. Sorry about that. Oh, where was I? Mid lane's probably one of the easiest lanes to gank provided you have proper jungle pathing. So once again, let's say you're top side. Now obviously any of these things can be reversed, as I'm sure you know. Let's say you do like a 3 camp clear, so you're level 3 where you go blue, wolves, red. An easy way to gank freaking bottom or mid lane is to literally either blast plant over to here and then walk following the wall like this. And then you don't use your gap closer until you're right on top of them or they dash. Or you don't use it until they like use their movement. For example, if they haven't flashed yet and you're walking up on them, they have to run away. So instead of having to use your flash when they use their flash, you go right on top of them, they flash, you Q with Jax, and you laugh because you're still on top of them. On the opposite side, let's say you go red, well, you wouldn't want to do chickens. Red, wolves, blue. You then come out here, or you come through here, where you follow the wall as much as you can. And for this part right here, like the first line I drew is kind of inaccurate, where you'll see I make a circle. The side closest to bot lane is the one you want to go, because you're trying to avoid wards here. Because at the end of the day, the mid laner can go through here, can go through here, or you can gank the mid laner from these 6 directions. 9 times out of 10, the 2 directions you're gonna want to go through is this one and this one, which are the furthest ones to the closest ones to his turret, because you're literally putting yourself between him and the turret, which means he's either gonna run through the river or he's gonna die. Let's say for whatever reason you gank from. Let me clear this up a bit. Let's say you do the jungle path, you go here and you're right here, and the jungler immediately goes like this, right? Don't follow him directly, just literally go like this. You're going like this, and then the enemy or your mid laner is going like this, where he's trying to herd him into the river. Because the moment you get him here, even if he flashes, you should not die, short of like you being low already or your mid laner being low. Also, understand that if you do not start on the red side and you do your raptors, a trick that's kind of becoming popular is literally just award the raptors at, I think it's like a 230 or so.
Okay.
Because if they're cleared, you can automatically assume, you figure out 230. Yeah, if they've done raptors, you can automatically assume that they're up here. If they haven't done raptors, you can automatically assume right now that they're probably on the bot side doing their buff. Oh, wait. Raptors are clear. That means they started this side and then went into raptors. Yeah. So, like, raptors is a little sketchy to take, especially in the earlier levels, unless you're a champion like a Mumu, which also I recommend a Mumu to pick up. He's really strong right now.
Okay.
So, understanding that, like, you really don't want to ever gank from red side. You always want to try and do blue side until they start warding that side, then you swap. Because if they're, like, let's say I gank twice from this side, right? If I gank 2 times from this side, when I come for that third gank, the mid lane's going to expect me to come from that side. So, A, they're going to be positioned, like, right here. And B, they're going to ward, they're not going to ward here. Well, they might ward here after the first one, but when they realize they're not seeing you coming, they're going to try and ward this bush. So, that third gank's normally the good time to fucking just swap it around.
Okay.
Which, once again, it's like the same pathing as if you were coming from red side, except in reverse. Where you'll go like this. Bam. You'll sit right here, wait for them to pass the point of no return, which is like the very middle of the lane. And then you'll come in and fucking clean it up. Especially on champions like Vi, Warwick even, a Mumu, like, with some form of gap closer, you're gonna win those ganks. And back to the analogy about, plugging 3 holes in a boat with 2 corks. The reason you want to figure out which lanes are going to be the easiest to, like, get kills in and snowball is because you cannot be in all 3 lanes. If you are, you're not farming. And if you're not farming, you're putting yourself behind. Which you don't want to do. Especially because it's solo queue. So, you need to literally be able to, at loading screen, unless something changes in the middle of the game, pick 2 of the lanes. If you pick top and middle, you have to get them a bit more snowballed, because it'll be 3 people of your team is strong, provided your bot lane, and your bot lane's either feeding, they're ahead because they rock, and they're normally feeding, by the way. Take it from an AD carry main. And the jungler might be focusing that one. That's if you don't want to really encounter the jungle, / you're okay with encountering him, but you're not going for it. If you're going for it, you then want to see which lanes are going to be the hardest for you to gank, but the easiest for the enemy jungler to gank. And just position your actual pathing so you tend to stay. For example, let's say this is a Lux Zed, right? And they have a Lee, and you have Lux, they have Zed. And they have a Lee Sin on that team. You can best expect that lane's going to get fucking camped. If every time you do a clear, you go towards the middle of the map, like I do that, I come mid. Around then, you're most likely going to interrupt a gank, or it's going to be a 2v2.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it's a 2v2 fight, and this is specifically if you know you're going to win the 2v2. So, like, for example, if you were playing Pantheon jungle against No, honestly, if you're playing like a Mumu jungle against like maybe Nautilus jungle for whatever reason, like easy to win 1v1 matchups for your jungle. Or Xin Zhao into Rengar, even better. You're playing Xin Zhao and he's playing Rengar, and then you have a Zed mid against the Lux. That's like prime real estate for that Rengar and that Zed. So by being there, you'll be able to CC one of them where the Lux will be able to do damage depending on who you grab. Which means not only puts your mid lane ahead, but it puts your enemy jungler behind alongside your mid lane behind. You already won the game for 2 people. Provided that Lux can continue to keep that without like needing your help the whole game, you can start focusing on another lane. Which then you make that determination, you hit tab, you see who's winning, who's not. Is it close matches? Is it something that am I looking at the, like for example, I'm not going to gank a Ezreal Janna bot lane as a Xin Zhao or a Rengar. No fucking point.
Yeah.
But if I'm a Vi, it might be different if I have my ult. Like, it all depends on what your champion strengths are, and you have to play to your win conditions. And that gets a little bit more into macro play, which could honestly be a whole coaching session. But does that kind of answer your questions, or do you want me to go over top lane and bot lane ganking paths?
That makes a lot of sense.
So I kind of focus on mid lane specifically.
It is the most. I mean,
It has 6 different paths you can gank from. 7 if you consider like running it down mid, but you know, unless you're Hecarim, that ain't happening. Or Pantheon, because you're ult. But anyways, so for bot lane, right? You have a blast plant right here, and once again, we're always assuming that you're top side. For this, anything I say for like ganking bot side as top side, so like as red team, applies to ganking top side as blue side, and vice versa for the red fucking top side and red bottom side. The only difference is lane ganks. Yeah. So for bottom, let's say the enemy AD carry and support is past that line, right? And that blast plant is up. You can easily just blast plant in and you just straight up walk to them. But that's not nearly as efficient. That's one of those I'm against it's an immobile AD carry. It's not a Janna. I have a gap closer, and they don't have flash. 9 times out of 10, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna go through here. Bam. If you can go through the red side, depends on how you're 1v1 against the jungler. Would be the optimal time to place the ward here. You wait here, or you try to time it so that when you're at this point right here, the minions aren't like right here, which you can tell by looking at your top side. Like if the minions can see into here, then the minions will be able to see into here, and you'll probably get pinged off. But then you just come through here, because the moment you come through here, if they are at any point like past this, maybe even this, especially if you're playing like Xin Zhao or Vi, they're not getting away. You save your gap closer until they use theirs, and you just kill them. Collect currency.
Let's see, what else? So that covers primarily like red side ganks. Obviously, like I said, this applies to ganking top side. Now, this is ganking from blue side, actually.
So, moving up to top side, if I want to gank this right here, every single time I'm going to want to do the blast plant into here. If I'm playing like a champion like Lee Sin where I have like a huge amount of dashes or whatever, I'm probably going to go that way if I'm already level 6, so I could just fucking ult him. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a blast plant into this bush and then just fucking walk it up to him. And this is a gank that'll work if they're like past that point. Potentially this point, depending on how fast you are and how slow they are. So it's basically a reverse on what's the most optimal and least optimal based on bottom side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's the same.
Lane ganking. This one's a little bit harder, but it's the easiest one. At the same time, it's the easiest one to pull off, provided you understand what you're doing. If you want to get into this bush, the minions can't be past that point. You want to get into this bush, the minions can't be past like I would say this point, but it might be a little bit less. I'm just trying to give it a little bit extra room. If you want to get into this bush, your laner has to literally shove the full fucking wave into their tower and then keep them from crossing that line.
Okay.
An easy way for like a top gank, especially if they have teleport, is you come up top level 3, right? You kill them, you make it look like you backed, and you just straight up go into the side bushes because they're gonna teleport back. You tell your top lane, hey, shove. They're gonna assume you left. They're probably gonna immediately go in, especially if your top lane's like half health and they just teleported back. And then you just go in and you get the double kill. And that really sets the top laner back because you know he doesn't have teleport anymore. And he's also given up 2 kills, potentially 1 or 2 of them to his laner. So that lane should not need any more assistance unless the enemy jungler is there and you're nearby. And if so, you could probably try and push the advantage in other lanes. Let's see. Like when I'm playing Rengar specifically, I love ganking bottom through the lane because like the jump, it's the bee's knees. It's hard as fuck to get in the bush closest to them, but you know, I can usually jump from like the edge of this one. But you really wouldn't be playing Rengar, you'd be playing like Vi at most when it comes to gap closers, or maybe even Galio if you really wanted to.
I'll definitely try it by again.
I would honestly say Warwick's the one you want to try the most. Easily Warwick.
Okay. Easily Warwick.
If you're not comfortable on him, or you just feel like he's not your champion, then I would try either a Mumu first, and then move into Vi, because a Mumu has a similar kit in the sense of like how you start most of your ganks, except his ultimate fucking freezes up 5 members of your team, whereas Vi only freezes up 1.
Yeah.
Alongside with the new damage amplification, like if you have like a mid lane Victor or a mid lane Orianna and you get a Mumu ult off, they're gonna take 10% more damage in true damage. Or 15%. It's post mitigation, so like let's say their ult does 1,000 damage and it does 500 because they have 50% resistances, right? Mm-hmm. They would take 15% true damage of that 500. Mm-hmm. So it's not really true damage, but that they're going to be adjusting that, where they're probably going to lower it from 15%, make it so it's just pure out true damage.
Okay, so it's a straight up 15% damage boost.
Right now, yeah. And it refreshes after you've ulted or basic attacked them. It refreshes on your W and your E. And you do a lot of damage as a Mumu. Like, I actually won a game earlier with a Mumu where, like, I literally was soloing the fucking Xin Zhao a lot. And he stole my blue buff and everything. I did 6, 2, and 5. Do you see a single... Like, I started building Leandries. But, like, other than that, like, I was pure tank.
Do you think Leandries is usually good to build on him?
Or it's just I was 6 and 2, and that's the reason I was building it, where I wanted to do some more damage. Like, I focused on the Katarina, because the Katarina does enough damage where my CC should be able to help her kill the Lux. And we would win the 2v2 every time, because I just had to freeze up the Xin Zhao, worst case scenario. The only issue that came for this game, what was that?
She built Bork. Maybe that was just an end of game thing.
Who did?
Katarina?
No, that was like her second item. I don't fucking know what she was thinking, but whatever, it worked. I mean, looking at the ratios, 80 cat can work, but I mean, not my cup of tea. The only lane I really had issues with, because I came top quite a few times and helped kill the Darius, was bot lane, because I completely abandoned bot lane. And like I said, bot lane's always feeding. So at one point, this bitch was like 6 and 2. So after I have my Katarina at, I think it was 5 and 1, I just kept roaming bottom with Katarina because we had taken the mid tower, and so she was basically just a free jungler until she had to clear her wave. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a regular occurrence of like 4 manning bottom, and where a fucking 5 or 6 and 2 Kalista went to 7 and 7. Yeah, like, look, 4, 4, and 10. She was 0 and 4, 0, 4, and like 2. Bard, he was kind of helping, but like he didn't have a scoreline like this. The only people who were genuinely fed in this game was me, Katarina, and the Jace. Once I got him ahead, like as the jungler, you 9 times out of 10 are what determines whether that game is won or that game is lost. There's the occasional game where you can't, but it's most likely has to do with your mastery over the jungle. Any questions?
That makes sense. I guess just say, for example, learning about invades. Are there any resources you recommend? Like learning which junglers are strong in, say, the 1v1s when invading is good.
If you're talking about 1v1s,
I just have a million questions.
You're good.
Just wondering where.
If you're looking for an invading jungler, Vi's pretty good. A Mumu can be good if all you're stealing is shit like Raptors, because Raptors specifically, a Mumu probably has the fastest clear in the game because of the way his E works.
Mm-hmm.
Lee Sin's a good invading jungle. Shyvana's good where she pretty much lives in the enemy jungle. Ivern is a huge invader. You just have to be careful with the invades because if you're invading the whole game, the team sooner or later is going to notice. And then you're going to just keep on dying because you don't realize, hey man, maybe I should back up. You know, they kind of caught on to my tricks. Nunu's also a counter jungler. And he did receive buffs. He's not as bad as he used to be. I wouldn't say he's meta, but he's definitely strong.
Okay.
Did that answer that question?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Any other questions?
Last one. Any streamers you'd recommend watching for jungle?
Well, I mean me, of course, but I only play AD carry. So. It's actually a really good question. Yeah, of course, but I only play I'm looking at the streamers I follow right now. So Decker is pretty good when he gets jungle, but 9 times out of 10 he's gonna play Rengar. But he does go over like different shit, like kiting camps, etc., on like jungle pathing and whatnot. And he answers questions.
Okay. Who was it?
Dekar, DEKAR 173.
DKAR 173. Okay.
Oh, the Yordles is streaming. Trick 2G might become one of those only because of the Udyr changes. If Udyr ends up strong enough that he needs to be picked up by people who want to actually play the game. Ichigo Upa, he plays with Decker. Or not Decker, Keep It Taco, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
He's currently like if you went to just browse League of Legends, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th down from the middle or in the middle. But like he's playing Ivern right now.
Okay. Yeah.
There's also a Smurfer right now who's apparently smurfing in plat, playing Cho'Gath, OTP. You really just gotta check, honestly. Four-time challenger jungle since season 3. Mike. I'll just copy the link. He might be decent. I mean, he's a challenger jungler, so I mean, I wish Nightblue was still an educational streamer, but you know what can you do?
I've heard all about what happened in the stream.
I totally respect him for it. Don't get me wrong, because at the end of the day, he wanted to make it so he was happy. Because at the end of the day, he was getting really like depressed over it. Because he was basically just sending the same information all the time. It's shitty, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get if you were being the basic fix, it would really change.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, man. Don't hesitate to shoot me some questions if you have them like later on. You're also welcome to fill out a survey on how I did as a coach. like
Okay.
positive or negative, up to you. I apologize for the issues when it came to like just getting the session on the road, but like I thought that it was 8 a.m. in my head, like in my time, and I realized this at 4 p.m. because I was just gonna stay up all night, do it, take a nap, and then do my tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But at like 6 or 7 o'clock, I realized, wait a second, it's 11 p.m. my time. I need sleep. I can't do this tournament. Like, so like honestly, the fact that you were willing to reschedule probably is the reason I won that tournament. So I thank you for that.
No, no problem. It's all good.
You were the real MVP.
Nice
Not-
job on
not-
that Lucian game.
Yeah. Don't forget that Jin game right before. I might have gotten shit on in lane, but I came back with a vengeance.